The Movies of the Meek, where we watch made-for-TV movies and miniseries so you don't have to. From Gia to Xenon, Hysteria to Sybil, welcome to Movies of the Meek.
Alright, so this week we watched Home Alone 4, which is the fourth Home Alone movie in the Home Alone franchise. It's a direct sequel to Home Alone 2.
Yeah.
So it picks up right after Kevin does his thing in New York. This movie is completely recast. So we find Kevin and the McAllisters going through a divorce. Kevin goes to stay with his father for the holidays at his father's rich girlfriend's mansion, where he runs into Marv from Home Alone 1 and 2. And
which is insane.
Which we can talk about that. But Marv and his very annoying girlfriend or wife are trying to kidnap the royal prince because the royal family is staying with Kevin's father and girlfriend at their mansion for the holidays.
Yeah.
It's a very, very convoluted plot for no reason. But essentially Kevin is trying to foil this kidnapping plot.
Yeah.
So I don't know where to start, Max, because there's a lot to unpack with this one.
Now, one of my first things that I had right off the bat is so basically where all this starts to get a little messed up is who's gonna look after Kevin, because the mom is a realtor now. She's got to provide for her kids. And the dad is who knows where at the very beginning of the movie, and you're like, oh, what the hell happened to this wonderful family that's been established, for the past few films. And the mom is like, you gotta look after Kevin, and the sister's like, I want to do it because I fucking hate Kevin. And the brother's like, oh, what, do you not want me to have a social life, you fucking bitch? And the mom is like, Kevin, we can't leave him home alone. And it's like, ha ha ha, home alone, hilarious. Now, my main question, and the reason that I'm bringing this up, is because she says that she needs to show a house to a couple, okay?
Yeah.
This is at like 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Who is viewing that house that late at night?
I don't know.
That close to Christmas?
It's fucking crazy.
Because it's like the day before Christmas Eve.
Yeah. No, it's fucking mind-blowing.
And I was just like, why is this happening?
They could have used any other excuse, like she's going on a date or anything.
Anything.
But
they decide to throw that weird little thing in just so that you can have all this weird tension that she has to be out of the house. And then, she goes into little Kevin's room and he's just watching a bunch of videos of their
that's
past.
That's a thing in this movie. No, I don't think people do that.
And it's just the kid reflecting on what his life was like before his parents split up.
Like from a year ago, it looks like.
Yeah.
It was Christmas from last year.
Yeah, and she's going, well, Christmas will be exactly the same. And he's like, yeah, except for without Dad. And she's like, yes, except without Dad. But other than that, exactly the same. Okay? Exactly the same. Okay? And he's like, yeah, whatever. And it's at this point that I realized that this version of Culmination is characterized like way younger than in the original movies.
All of his siblings are way younger.
I just mean like
Buzz?
even intelligence-wise.
Well, yeah.
Because if we think of this movie in comparison to Home Alone's 1 and 2, Home Alone's 1 and 2 is a very smart kid. Like, Culkamania is a fucking genius, and he makes all these traps using everyday household objects that fuck with these people and should kill them most of the time.
Yeah.
But at the very least, like, they injure them really badly. Whereas this movie is completely reliant on the fact that it's a smart house. Which we will get into.
Oh, we will.
But it's completely reliant on the fact that he is a smart house and he can just hit buttons that'll hurt people because of the fact that it's a smart house.
Yeah.
He in this movie is not intelligent, nor would I even say that he has emotional intelligence. He's honestly like a 6-year-old. He's an idiot, and he's incompetent in every single way. And it makes a joke of the previous character. It's a shame.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. I mean, this movie is a terrible, terrible, terrible ripoff of the original movies.
Yeah.
It's embarrassingly bad.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't even see him make traps in this movie.
No, it's all the house.
It's all the house, and there's like one at the very end. There's the one scene, and they rip off Home Alone 2. He has that voice recorder, and he records Marv's voice to trick Marv's wife.
Yeah.
At the end, and that's it. This is fucking terrible.
And that's, like you were saying, like the siblings even, he had 2 way older siblings in the original movie.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the original 2 movies, he has a total of 4 fucking siblings.
It is wrote out too. It's really strange.
So they just wrote out 2 siblings and changed the ages of everyone.
I just thought it was weird that they continued Kevin's story, because in Home Alone 3 they went with a different kid.
Yeah.
And they could have easily done that for this and done whatever they wanted with the characters. But the fact that they're still going on Kevin and the McAllisters, and to change so much about their family.
Yeah.
Is really bizarre. Even the fucking, so this movie is supposed to take place in, the early 90s, but is very much a movie set in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
It's almost a decade, the technology is a decade more advanced.
Yeah.
It's very fucking weird why they did this.
And so, yeah. this young, supposedly older, futuristic Culkamania comes to the conclusion that, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna go hang out with my dad, go see what he's doing. And so he fucking sneaks his way over there.
His dad lives in the same city. They live in Chicago. But the way they set it up in the beginning is as if his dad's asking Kevin and his siblings if they wanted to travel, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And travel to spend the holidays with him, but it's he's right down the street.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not that far away.
No.
But Kevin sneaks off. He gets a cab.
Because we know from the previous films that he knows how cabs work.
Oh yeah. And we find that his dad lives in this fucking mansion. This smart house mansion that's has voice recognition
and a giant ass remote for his room TVs. He has remote control helicopters and shit. And a lot of this movie is dedicated to montages with horrible music.
Yeah.
And that was disappointing.
Yeah. Because the first movie had a montage with music. So this one had to as well. But it was fucking terrible, Max. It was terrible. And it's they have this song, so it's not even there's a song playing while the montage is happening. It's it was playing all day while he's doing all of these things. He's getting a shower, he's playing with his toys, and we know that it's playing in the house, on the house speakers, because Prescott, the butler, tells him to turn it down, at which point Culkamania uses his little Alexa remote and tells the house to turn it down. So it's been playing for 16 hours, this one James Brown song. It's fucking crazy.
Now Prescott, of course, is the fake
he's the
spy.
fake out.
He's that little fake out. He's also the dude that keeps track of all the cameras. He was fine, I thought he's an enjoyable actor and character.
And I thought he was a good fake out, because you were led to believe that he was going to be the villain, and he did a good job being a grumpy butler.
Oh yeah.
But it turns out he just hated his job.
Yeah.
He didn't really hate Kevin.
No.
And then there's the other servant. I think her name was like Molly or something, and a maid. And she turns out to be the real villain.
Yeah, because
And-
she is
and-
Marv's mom.
And yeah, that's fucking insane. Like everything. It's so stupid, dude. It's like it's all coincidence too. Like Kevin's dad just happens to fall in love with this woman who owns this mansion, who's just happens to be hosting a royal family, and Marv from the first two movies just happens to be scheming to kidnap the royal family, and Kevin just happens to be going over there.
And that's like, Marv is so mad when he sees Culkamania. Like, he's so livid. He's like, this kid again, he's following
Can
me.
we talk about how like they completely rewrote that character? Like, he is nothing like he was in the original.
Oh, yeah, of
movies.
course.
It's so fucking crazy.
It's because he's from fucking Third Rock from the Sun.
He's like a nice dude in this movie.
Is he? Because he hits his wife, and they make it
Does
into a
he?
joke.
Does he hit his wife?
Yes.
Oh yeah, in the car. Oh yeah. But it was like in that early 2000s like fun movie way. It wasn't like a serious hit. I think she hits him back. It was there like little light slaps, but unacceptable. Very unacceptable.
those early 2000s hitting your wife is fine years.
Well, when portrayed in movies, I feel like it was like just kind of like slapstick comedy.
Yeah.
That's how it was portrayed in this. There was like goofy sound effects. Anyway,
But they have a legit child abduction plan, which is the thing that blew me away, because this is legitimately a movie. This is no longer them robbing, which is what they've been doing, like all the other times. This is now, they've elevated to the level of they're abducting a royal prince so that they can hold him fucking hostage and get ransom money.
yeah, it's fucking crazy.
I was like, Jesus, Marv has hit a new low.
Yeah, and I wonder if Marv's mother got the job because of that, because what's her I don't know what Kevin's dad's girlfriend's name is, but because she was hosting the royal family, or did this just fall in their laps? Like, was she the maid, and then she found out this royal and where is it? Is it the royal family? Like the royal family? Like, where are they from?
I do
Because
not.
their accents did not sound like British accents at the end.
Now, it is when Marv and his wife scope out the house that they, once again, of course, they run into good old Culkamania, and all of our characters for the film are getting together, and it's also at that point that we get, once again, the first example of the smart house being a smart house. And so Culkamania, instead of using a bunch of traps, he just overpowers them with the water system, and it completely floods the entire house. And it's at that point that you're starting to get this thing where they're like insinuating that there's a spy within the house because the cameras stopped working, and you're like, what's going on? And they clean up at the house, and they get all the water out. The dad's girlfriend is horrified because this royal family is coming real soon, and so they decide to clean up and get everything ready. And that's where you have the stupid tree decorating scene where it's just another montage.
Dude,
and it takes a really long time.
That Jingle Bells cover. Whoa.
and that's I'm gonna skip ahead to the end. Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead to the end of the movie.
Go for it.
Okay, because fuck this movie. Okay.
Yeah, no, seriously, fuck. That's what I've been saying for 2 weeks. Fuck this movie.
Like, there's this super lame like heart to heart thing where like the dad is talking about like the inner child and how like a sports car means nothing if you're alone. And then the thing is that it's like that scene's bullshit because he's not alone. He has this woman that he's supposed to be starting a new life with. And the thing that's fucked up about this movie is twofold, okay? Because it goes from the dad is like, this kind of shitty person, and he's started this relationship with this new woman, okay? And the new woman is an incredibly nice, attractive woman who's like bringing this kid into her home and is well, I'm getting there.
Okay.
And so at first glance, you know, you're getting these things that she's doing and willing to do for this family.
Yeah, very generous.
And you start getting these little glimpses of she doesn't really like Kevin. Because in all honesty, Kevin's kind of a prick to her, okay?
Yeah, no,
He's kind of a greedy little shit kid, okay? Yeah. And so they give you these little inklings of the fact that, like, she's a piece of shit, all right? They're trying to get you to go against her. Mm-hmm. And that's when, oddly enough, at the same time, you start getting a lot of lines from her about how she wants to start a family with him.
Yeah.
And she talks about her, like, want for kids and how they'll have kids of their own. And you know that they have sex. Like, we know that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, come on. They've been dating for a while. We know this. And it's at the very end of the movie that the dad and Kevin McAllister's mom get back together. Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
And the most fucked up thing ever happens, which is the dad says, I think I mistook infatuation and excitement for love. Okay. And he just goes and gets back together with his wife, his former wife. And it's one of those things where it's like, fuck you piece of shit human being. Because that's like the worst message that you could ever say. Because if you think about it, like, his girlfriend, like, everyone has difficulty when the person that they're in a relationship with has a former kid. There's always difficulty with that. But this is a person that thought that they were in love with you, that was willing to have a family with you, that invited you into their lives and their house, their fucking dope-ass, cool, smart house that your kid used because he's turned into an idiot. And instead, you basically go, oh, she was just like an object of desire. And I've now come to the realization that, you know what, like, she wasn't really what I need. What I needed is what I've always had. And you know what, like, whatever. Like, I was just excited, you know? Like, this was just lust. And the wife is like, oh, I get that.
Okay, so I think there's a couple things going on here, Max. I did a little research, and that was not the original ending, okay? Okay? The original ending... So this whole... I mean, I don't want to jump to IMDb trivia, but the whole movie was supposed to be a vehicle for to have a Home Alone, like, series, right?
Okay.
But it failed so hard that that never happened. But anyway, the original ending was... supposed to be Kevin's dad and Natalie is her name were supposed to remain together at the end of the film. Okay.
Holy shit.
Now Kevin's mother was supposed to start dating a police officer at the end of this movie. The police officer was supposed to be the younger, nicer, and more honest brother of Marv. But they changed that at some point because they wanted it to be a TV series, and they felt that having the parents back together would, I guess, probably be like a more traditional sitcom or whatever. So that's a thing.
I love everything you just said.
Yeah, and I think what your issue is, it has nothing to do with the character. It does, but I think Natalie, they wrote in some scenes in there to make her more, like, way more despicable than she originally was supposed to be. Like, they wrote in a scene, like, throughout the movie, they kind of pepper in here and there where she kind of, like, says some really fucked up shit to Kevin.
Wow.
All kind of leading to this one scene where after Kevin is so this whole movie they're, like, accusing Kevin of sabotaging their relationship because they don't believe him about Marv and the whole kidnapping plot. And there's one scene towards the end where Natalie sits Kevin down and is like, listen, you motherfucker. He is my man.
Yeah,
you are not getting your dad.
Me.
I will fuck you up. And and that kind of sets her up to be this terrible person. When I think they added that in so that at the end of the movie you kind of bought into the whole Kevin's parents getting back together. So I think that had something to do with it. I mean, what he did, like how it played out, was like really fucked up, and I agree with you. I just think that there was other factors at play outside of the actual plot of the movie. So
yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where as soon as you said all of that, I was like, one, all of that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I would much rather to end the original way.
All of that sounds good to me. Yeah,
I have no issues with that.
I have no issues with that. This ending, I have so many issues with.
Okay, we can talk about the ending real quick if you want.
Because it shits on the face of love, Zach.
It shits on the face of like science and technology as well. Because what does Kevin do at the end of the movie, Max? So they're all cheering. Natalie's crying because for whatever reason the royal family chooses to go stay with McAllisters for the week.
Yeah.
Which is fucking crazy. The royal family travels to Chicago and is supposed to be staying in this mansion with. I don't know what Natalie does for a living, by the way.
She builds smart houses. This is a continuation.
Sequel to Smart. Yo, I like that read of the movie the best. Fuck. What was I gonna say? And then so the royal family is like, "Oi, we're gonna go stay with the McAllisters," and they're all happy and cheering. Kevin, says, "Smart House, play music," and they play the ending credits music, and then Kevin says, "Smart House, start snowing," and the movie there's snow. Like, he has this fucking Smart House has the ability to control the weather as well. Like, what the fuck?
Smart House, raise the dead. I am God.
Pretty much. I don't know if they thought that was just a cute way to end the movie, but it made no fucking sense, especially if they were trying to set up a fucking TV series.
Smart House, be the movie The Ultimate Christmas Present and control the tectonic plates.
Yo. If you think about it, this movie is kind of like all of our favorite made-for-TV movies rolled up into one.
And somehow it's the worst thing of all time.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck. Yeah, like every step of the way, this thing is just a fucking disaster.
Yeah, like...
We don't even get, like, the best part of the Home Alone movies, and they weren't perfect movies, but I really enjoy them. After Kevin sets up the traps, seeing the two burglars go through all the traps and get hurt, get really fucked up.
Yeah.
We don't even get that.
No.
They just fall through I think a bookshelf falls on Marv, and they get pulled through a window, and that's kind of it. Right?
Which is like the funny thing is that it's like, the theatrical movies have like all these things where it's like, when Marv gets electrocuted, you like see his skeleton, and that's like how intense his electrocution is. But it's like this movie goes through like actual things that could kill you in real life, like a real fucking huge bookshelf falls on him, and it's like the concerns that you have are like that of if one of your friends had a bookshelf that size fall on. You're like, oh, he could really be hurt, guys.
They just like completely missed the point of a Home Alone movie.
Yeah, like they decided to go against like all the things that are funny and crazy and just do things that are realistic.
And he's not even home alone in this movie.
Oh, not at all.
He's never home alone. And they set Prescott up to be the villain, but Molly's always there.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking crazy.
Now, so it gets to a point where, Prescott and good old Culmination get locked in the wine cellar together, so that they can basically enact this plan to kidnap this child. And it's like, why didn't they call the police when they were in there?
I have that in my notes.
They just end up bonding, and it's fine. But it's just like...
They have a cell phone, right? Don't they have Prescott's cell phone?
They do, yeah. And they use it to call his mom. Or try calling his mom.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, it in my notes, I honestly just have over and over again, just like, who cares? Like, it literally says that constantly.
Yeah, that's what I have a lot of that too. I mean, at least in the first movie, they established that Kevin's afraid of the police, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have like two scenes where I think he calls the police at one point and it doesn't answer the door.
Yeah.
And then he gets chased by a police officer when he accidentally steals the fucking the gum or whatever. Yeah, this movie is fucking garbage, Max.
Yeah. Here's two of my notes. How did Culmination have time to tie the elevator to the motor? Who cares? The finale, Marv's mom was about to murder Culkamania with a fucking pan. Like, she was literally about to murder him with a pan. And he gets saved by my boy Prescott. But fuck this movie. Who cares?
I apparently had a big issue with Teddy, his stuffed animal. Just because it was never a thing in any of the other movies that he had this Teddy stuffed animal. And they make it such a big deal in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's like not a big deal because he never does anything with it.
Yep.
Fuck this movie. I'm just going through my notes right now. If there's anything.
I just, once again, like, it's so messed up that they just made it into the dad had a little fling and this woman was ready to start a life with a person. And they just turned it into like some jokish affair that they push under the rug.
Yeah.
I just think that is such an insulting way of viewing human interaction.
and
so
the fact
shitty.
the fact that Kevin's mom was just kind of there waiting for him to like come back. You know what I mean? It was just this really it's just really fucking bizarre. She is really distraught the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like, her son fucking leaves, doesn't want to see her. And her ex-husband is living with this fucking rich bimbo. It's crazy. And like, did you think it was kind of fucked up that Kevin's mom isn't poor by any means? She's a modest middle class working woman and their house is okay, but like, for the dad to leave the other siblings back at that house when he was living in like goddamn like wealth, like filthy wealth, is insane.
Yeah,
fucking crazy. I don't know. What did Natalie do? Like, what is her?
She builds and designs smart houses. Once again, we've established this.
No. Oh my god. What does the father do? Is he a publicist? Is that what he's saying?
He sold two of his children to slavery. And now he's set. So let's just say fuck this movie, and how about you tell me some IMDb trivia?
All right, so Daniel Stern, who played Marv in the first two films, was approached to reprise his role in this one.
Of course.
Stern quickly declined, calling it an insult and total garbage.
Agreed.
Although this movie takes place in Chicago, it was filmed in South Africa. This was the director's final film.
There's a lot of TV movies that are that.
Yeah. Well, it says, despite the title, Kevin is never home alone. That's pretty funny. There's a shit ton of goofs, by the way.
There's so many goofs. So
I don't know if you picked out a few. Yeah.
The iron saucepan changes when it's hitting Marv's and Vera's head. Vera, I assume, is his wife. Yeah. When Marv and Vera fly into a chandelier, they hang onto it. You can see a wire is visible. At the end, there's an obvious stunt double when Kevin is against Vera and Marv. During the flood, 6-inch boards are all along the doorways, preventing the water from flowing into adjacent rooms, which I did notice that.
I did notice that as well, yeah.
It's super fucking obvious.
It's so dumb.
Though the film is set in Chicago, palm trees are visible.
That's a common one with every movie ever made.
So good. And then this one gets into what you're talking about with what time period this takes place in, which is a PlayStation 1 can be seen in this movie. The PS1 entered production in 1994, making it unrealistic for the movie's 1991 time setting.
Damn.
Oh, so good. Next week we'll be watching Britney Ever After, the Britney Spears story.
Oh, fuck.